Hey, I'm having fun here. I have another, and actually, once I record this journal, I'll be caught up. All right, this was written 11/29, the first of that day. I haven't looked up the Mayan day yet. It's called Boats of Pain, Oceans of Joy, Loving Self. Interesting title. I'm up early today. It's been a long time since I saw the morning sun. Most days, waking up between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. It's been strange, but I don't care. I take going with the flow to extremes at times just to find whatever's to be found. And I am grateful, too, to be enabled by life circumstances to do it. What does the flow bring me today? Myself, of course. What else? What else could it bring? What else could it bring me in this universe, this whole cosmos made just for me, by me? Being hard, obviously. Though I had that special experience of the saying of the poignant goodbye to it all, yet that was an experience. Like all experiences, they come and go. So, though I have the flavor, the essence of it with me ever, yet mine did not totally accept it as real. It doesn't matter. What is, and must be good enough. That's how I see it. What this or that day brings just doesn't matter. As we greet it with equanimity, the equanimity of one poised in the midst of the now moment, all moments are equally blessed. It's amazing, truly, but it doesn't matter. I marvel at this sometimes as I watch it. It isn't with me always, yet often enough that it becomes an old friend. We are comfortable together as long accustomed lovers. Once one knows that the heart of the entire creation is only love, well, it takes all the sting out of it. And that's really important. Why important? Because there's plenty of sting within living. Sometimes it seems that pain is unequally dealt out, with the light beings given more than their share. Now, that's only a seeming for what is their share anyway. What is a share? Where did this idea originate? It's surely based in separation, isn't it? Well, what is real about separation? Are we still believing in it, basing anything in our life on it? That's not wise, not if we want to march along with truth, that is. So many of us incarnate on the earth today are lovers, even worshipers of divine truth. There is no other kind. All truth is divine. And I'm not saying something so minuscule as a fact even approaches real truth. It doesn't. Truth with a capital T. But anyway, truth knows that separation is a lie and that anything based on it will not prosper, will not bring forth good fruit. The reality is that all is just one. And though this sounds crazy to mind, all we need do is center in heart to find consonance, to find resonance with any truth like our oneness. We get the sense of it there. So I hope I will be forgiven for focusing so much on pain, but that is still the territory I walk in. It will be over when it is over. Until then, I make friends with it. Well, why not? My attitude is ever my choice, like everyone's is. I'm not saying I don't cry, even weep with how I'm feeling. I'm just human, or the body is, like everyone else. However, what may be different in fact, though available to everyone equally, is that under the pain is an ocean of such peace and contentment that can carry any load of pain it is given. It's almost magical. It seems that the pain as it comes in is set to float on this ocean, with its weight spread evenly out, being nothing at all to burden the water. The water doesn't even notice the weight that it carries, like a feather. It's just nothing to this water, this contentment underlying. Then, though seemingly separate, though the seemingly separate I bears the weight of the pain and rides for a time in the ship with it, choosing to do that, yet underlying it all, the magnificent ocean invites one in for a swim. Relief is ever that close as diving off of the ship of pain and playing with the dolphins in the water of joy. It is only an allegory or a metaphor, yet it helps give the sense of it, of part of what it's like for the light being, what it's like in potential for everyone. It takes diving off the ship of pain, though, to discover the ever-present ocean underlying. Some just haven't taken the leap of faith. Others are still wearing blinders of beliefs that won't let them see the beautiful waters and how they're ever present. Actually, to be more accurate, I guess I'd have to see a whole lot of ships carrying pain plying the waters, ships of every size and description. If my vision is clear, I can even see ships of other lifetimes there, sailing along with those of this life. What an amazing picture that is. What a literal boatload of pain each one is. How amazing. Still, does the number of them distress the water? What a funny thought. Water is water, and ships are buoyant, and water must carry them just as a sun must shine. It's what they do, and it's nothing to them. Some of my ships look like ghost ships, barely visible. I expect those are the ones whose boatload of pain is largely processed already. Yet they linger on, so there must be something I've not yet released, so they can entirely disappear. That will be something fun to explore later. Some of them are little ones, like rowboats. Oh dear, here's what's strange about this. Each one is manned somehow. And oh, some of the crew members are mighty strange characters. I guess they are those who are involved with the particular load of pain that boat carries. Some are pretty spooky looking characters, something else to explore. Do you see how the teaching just happens from within? You get an image of some sort and be quiet with it, and suddenly things start to appear and take on life somehow. Everything goes into motion. Then new things pop up that you didn't design or think of at all, and pretty soon you see how you're being taught or shown something. Amazing how the inner tutor works like that, how life works like that. I just love it. Now, if your mind is in the habit of spinning things darkly, well, this won't be so much fun for you. And if you've put some work into shifting your attitude, into lightening it up, and yet still the habit of sailing in dark waters persists, well, I'd have a look at that. See what aspect or part of you is being served by it. What is that feeding? What part of you is so gloomy? Is it you, really? Keep watch. For you're being taught, just as I am, all the time, It's just a matter of quieting mind sufficiently so you can take one of these quiet journeys with your inner teacher. That one is ever there for you. You are never alone. It just seems that way sometimes. And the seeming can hurt. Don't we all know it? Let's not be too quick to brush off our pain and inner aching. Let's not be so outer focused that we drag the body, the being, along, keeping it occupied with outer things. They're not ultimately real anyway. We are much more the inner life than the outer one. We are inescapably that. So, if we've no one to share it with, and there are few with whom it feels safe to do so, for few understand us in any deep way, then take to writing. It's a way to help process your stuff. It can really help just to write it down. Now, if you don't want it hanging around, you can burn it after. Just get it out. Get it on paper. Give it the right to be heard. That's a part of you in there, screaming to be heard. Love yourself enough to listen via the writing. And if you decide to burn it later, which I don't recommend, but better to do this than not get it out, do it with a prayer. Pray for the transmutation of the dark into light, which the fire will do symbolically. Do what you can to just let it go, to surrender it. At least surrender the dark charge you have on the energy. Surrender the emotion around it as you can. Did you know that the fire is alive? It has consciousness. It is aware, just like the elementals of earth, air, and water. The fire is a being of the elements. The elemental beings will work with us if we will begin to be aware of them. I mean, they work with us all the time. It's just that they do it unacknowledged. Just like our spiritual guides, they are around us always, yet seldom acknowledged. Well, as part of our awakening, we'll begin to be able to see and interact with them and the animals. We have such reunion and joy ahead of us once we part with this separation idea, especially. That's been in the way a good bit. That and being told that the elementals don't exist and other such nonsense that our world calls education these days. Pretty sad stuff. Still, that's okay. Let's not polarize against it or anything. Polarization is perhaps the main way we've been separated out from ourself. Take a stance for this, another stance against that, and pretty soon we're at war with each other and, what we don't notice, warring internally. Now, it's easily spotted once we're alert to it. Once we know that all separation by definition is phony. What a relief. This too is a part of our waking up. What joy is just around the corner and already here. As we come into our own power and the sense of that more and more, we will be brave enough to see the things we have been made to fear and run from, the boogeymen created to keep us in line in our sleepwalking. What children we were to go along with this. Well, the good thing about it may be that it's over now, and in later years we will see how we grew through all of this. Meanwhile, my friends, if I could share anything right now, it would be this. Don't run from your pain. Stop and feel it. Give it a voice, not to others so much as to yourself. Lend yourself an ear. You deserve to be heard by someone divine. that would be you, open up to your inner majesty. Don't let a little or a lot of pain scare you. You're the ocean. They are the boats. They are nothing to you, nothing at all. They are harmless. Have you heard of the concept called soul retrieval? Are you familiar with the idea that fragments of the soul can part from the rest of it? This may be new to you since we are taught that we're the body, and contemplating losing bits and pieces of the body is rather ridiculous. But the reality is that we are energy beings, and energy has no such boundaries or firm edges. The best soul retrieval meditation I have found is by Patricia Corey in her book, No More Secrets, No More Lies. It is also available as a CD, the meditation part, not the book. It might be something to consider if it calls to you. Start listening more closely to your own soul when it calls. And sometimes it calls through pain. You have to work through the pain to get to the message under it. Learn to respect it. Give yourself the love and respect you desire from those around you. You are worthy. It's rather funny, in a way, how we're taught everything backwards. We were taught that self-love is wrong and selfish and petty, immature. And yet, self-love is just what is missing from this world of ours. If we would learn to love the self as the very best friend in the world, the whole world would be healed in that. When we grow insensitive to the self, we become automatically insensitive to others. And that's the start of it, the whole mess that follows. We couldn't do those things to others if we weren't already doing it to the self. The outer world is a mirror. I'm going to close this journal with a fragment I wrote yesterday. It seems to fit. And that's this. Okay. I was just practically forced over here to make a new journal by what I just heard on a Mellen-Thomas Benedict interview by Joyce Keller. I was working away at something else, answering someone's message while listening to this interview, when I heard him say that Spirit told him in one of his extensive visits into the light subsequent to his near-death experience that the only one who is or ever could be his soulmate is him, as in me, myself, and I. That made me pause. It was so beautifully said, along with how anything special relationship external to the self, along with how any special relationship external to the self will either be a life mate or a playmate. So he presented the three: the soulmate as the me, myself, and I, others as life mate or playmate. Our one true love is within, always. That's the highest and best true love affair. So I paused for a moment when I heard that, took my hands off the keyboard just to let it sink in, savoring the beauty, registering my complete agreement. Then I put the recording back on, went back to my task. Only then he did it again. He said something so wonderful, I had to just quit what I was doing to write a few words on it here. Still on the same subject, the interviewer asked what Spirit had taught him, if anything, about homosexuality and cross-gender and all that sort of thing that is so current today. I loved the answer. And this is a quote from that. It's all quite natural. one of the things I saw about the future is that the future is going to be by far predominantly female, ... The general population is more androgynous, and homosexuals and heterosexuals are actually fairly rare. Why? Said the interviewer. His answer? Because love is love. Close quote. Wow. Beautifully said, and beautifully taking the focus right up and out of 3D or materiality or externals, right into heart. At least for me, this is my response to that. Maybe for you as well. Good day.